It's loading. Hey, everybody. It's Noah with his own podcast. Today I'm here with Mary Elizabeth Tracy, the nice pen lady. So go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience and let everybody know what you're about.
Hey, Noah. So Noah and I met on Facebook in one of our groups on Facebook. I'm the nice pen lady, and I've got a story with that I'll share later. But you know how when you're in business and you're marketing, you're just throwing money here and there, hoping that something sticks and that you get results on it. Well, my strong suit is that I'll help my customers see where their customers are coming from and do really targeted marketing to them. And I do it with specialty advertising, like little trinkets and gifts and things that your techs can bring into the home and give to the homeowner. And it elevates the energy
Mhm.
and it brings this feeling of goodness. I mean, they're writing a check, but but instead of that being the end of the transaction where they've just spent a lot of money with you give them some little something, a little cutting board or a strainer or just some useful something gift. And then when you land on that ending of your transaction, then you elevate it. And so do little strainers and cutting boards increase your business? Not necessarily, but the Google reviews that follow because you've now left them in a higher energy and they do feel better about you and your company, then they're more apt to leave you Google reviews. And that's where a lot of my customers get their business is from Google reviews.
So it's kind of like a home warming. Like you're like coming in there, you're helping them out,
Yeah,
and then they get a gift afterwards. You're raising the energy of the actual. Not just like that sale that you just make and then it's done, right? It's that go forward even further and actually show that you care to the other person.
right.
I want to say that
Exactly.
with
And
Vegas.
then when I work with people who sell high ticket items,
Hmm.
I've had experiences where I had a guy who's no longer doing this kind of work, but he used to sell mobile homes or modular housing. And so we had it set up where 6 weeks after the sale, we always try to do something to get the sale, and then it's like forgotten. Well, 6 weeks after the sale, he would show up with
Hmm.
a branded bag full of branded goodies just to check on people, see how they're doing. And that really increased his referrals, like out the roof, just to do that little bit of a nice thing for people.
And that's what everybody's looking for is those referrals. I mean, because that's the easiest business you'll ever get.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, somebody has already sold them on you and your company. And so, yeah, you just go in there and close the deal. And then
Exactly.
another thing that I see when I'm around the service industry is the use of door hangers. And I know that people think door hangers are so cheap. They're just the cheapest way to go. And so they
Mhm.
go out and they'll hang all these door hangers. Maybe a door hanger, let's just say, I'm just saying that it
Mhm.
costs 10 cents and you get 100 of them for $10. Well, let's just be really, really, really honest. What happens to those 100 door hangers? What happens to them?
Trash.
Thank So you paid only $10 for 100, but where are they? They're in trash. Maybe if someone had a need for your services right then, that moment, which is that's not likely. Let's get real.
Mhm.
Then they might look at it and they might leave it on their counter and they might give you a call. But what if instead of hanging out 100 door hangers, you got some clear door hanger bags, like baggies, and you put a nice things to do notepad that had your name and address on it and a magnet at the top. Would
Hmm.
that get thrown away as much? No, probably go right on the fridge. And
Yeah.
then 25 times they're using that notepad and it's got your name, your information on it. And you just have a much greater chance of somebody remembering you when they need your product or services.
That is a very creative way to look at it because, like, I mean, shoot, that's providing the value first, and in business, you always want to provide that value first. So I bet a
Exactly.
lot of people just having that on there, seeing it multiple times while they're using it, it's actually something they can use. So they're of course they're going to use it. I mean, if I got that on my door, I'd be using it.
I know. I totally would too. Things like a pizza company or any kind of food that delivers,
Yeah,
right on the refrigerator. When you're going to the refrigerator to find something to cook for dinner and you're like, oh, here's Domino's. Let me just give them a call. You know, you just want to think like that. And then people also, it's a repetitive thing. That's why
mhm,
they say 7 to 12 impressions
mhm,
before your name really sticks with somebody. So, yeah, I just think it's really important. And I think that the days of just throwing our money away doing just random stuff, we
yeah,
have to be careful about things like that.
yeah. Well,
So,
to shift gears a little bit and go into your story and how you got into this,
sure.
what is kind of your story?
Well, I have a really long story. I mean, it's just a
So,
really long story.
oh,
But I have dabbled in this kind of business, specialty advertising, for years. And
mhm,
for years, I didn't do it as a business like myself. But anytime I was working in a company or working for a business, specialty advertising is always where I turn to market their business. I think I'm what you'd call an entrepreneur. Is that what it's called when you're within a company,
mhm.
but you take ownership of that company, even though it's not your company? Like
I think that's what an entrepreneur is.
I think so. And you just kind of build the business from where you're seated in the
Mhm,
company. So that's what I would do. Like I remember one time I was in Las Vegas and I worked for a motivational speaker and entertainer. And I wanted his business came from referrals, period, referrals. So he's this funny guy, very motivational, plays guitar. He's just fabulous. But when you
mhm.
ask people, did you like that speaker at your last event? Oh, yeah, it was awesome. What was his name? He was a really funny guy, played the guitar. Well, I didn't want people remembering a really funny guy that played the guitar. I wanted them
Right.
to remember, I'll say his name, Mike Rayburn. And
Mhm,
so I set up this program where I got useful things for the office because this was going to the office, and they were branded with um, his his whole speech and motivation is what if this works, what if, in because our minds work in questions. And so his question was, what if we could make $1 million this year? What if we could do it like this? So I would brand things, what if, and then at the bottom, MikeRayburn.com, and then send those out, a different thing every month to his main contacts that we had done business with. So that month one, when we did it, maybe I had 20 or 30 names on the list. Month
mhm.
two, they got something different and the new people got. So it was just a constant building onto this. And then his following year, his referrals were just, they were there.
Hmm.
People remembered who he was. And every single month, they're getting some kind of little, oh, cool, look at this cool pencil cap with this branding, what if, which is what they had just paid many, many, many thousands of dollars to teach their people this concept of what if. And now it's just being reinforced, reinforced, reinforced. And so it was not only beneficial for the man that was providing that service, but it was beneficial for the companies because it was reinforcing what all their people had been taught. It was a great idea. It was nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and just having that. I even got on a call yesterday with a guy who he had somebody sell him on himself, and that's something you can get sold on is yourself. And it sounds
Yeah,
like that's what he was doing with those people, and then you were able to put an enforcer in and keep reminding them over and over again, which is
right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, we'll go into the story of how you became the nice pin lady. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was born a poor black boy, and you'd have
What?
to. I know. If you haven't seen the movie The Jerk, and I realize I'm so dated now because it came out in like the 70s. It was a Steve Martin movie called The Jerk, and it's like a
Okay.
must watch for anybody. But it starts out with Steve Martin saying, "I was born a poor black boy." So that's just a line. But years and years ago, I was born. Mary Elizabeth Tracy is my name. And
Hmm.
I have a brother. He recently passed away, but I had a brother who was 10 years older than I was. So when I was a little girl trying to learn stuff, 3 or 4 years old, he's this mischievous teenager, 13, 14, 15, like that. And he taught me that my name was Mary Elizabeth Crazy. And so I thought, until I learned how to write my name in first grade, that my name was Mary Elizabeth Crazy. And so that just was my nickname through life, Crazy Mary. When I lived in Las Vegas, I had a roommate there, and she said, "You know what would be so fun? You should be the crazy pin lady." And I said, "Oh my God, that's such a great idea. Yeah, I could totally be the crazy pin lady." And then I thought, no, you know what? That's not how I want to identify. I want to
Yeah.
be nice. And so that's how the nice pen lady came to be years
Hmm.
ago. And I've given away tens of thousands of pens that say the nice pen lady.
That's one thing, like identifying and branding yourself. Really finding what sticks for you. I feel like is a lot of things, even creators that are trying to create their own content, stuff like that, struggle with. I mean, even for me, like I'm trying to figure out what how I brand myself. I got the company hat, but besides
Yeah.
that, I don't know where my other branding is.
Well, it'll come to you, and that's a great question to be asking yourself. Like even before you go to sleep, just ask yourself, "Who am I? Who do I want to be?
Mhm,
What part of me?" Because we all have. So yeah, I'm the nice pin lady, and I am really a nice person. But
mhm.
I can be kind of busy sometimes too. So we all have that. We all have that scope, but it's just where do you want to land on that scope? Like I want to land intentionally on the nice end of that scope.
Hmm.
So
I've
it just
always been fearful of, and I can be honest with it, fearful of the branding myself as one thing and then switching gears or like not being consistent in that one branding piece and just being like, just committing to that one thing on with a brand is like, it's just, yeah. But I guess it's just not as, I don't know. How do you get over that hump of, because like even with you, it's like, oh, well, what if I want to be the amazing pin lady or something like that?
yeah, I know. Well, I could transition by being the nice and amazing pin lady, and then
Yeah.
we'll just stop nice altogether. But yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just like, it's interesting. It's interesting to think of. Like, I've always been kind of that way for like even when I've done other things in the past, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be known as that guy. You know, I don't
right,
know if I want to be known as that guy. And I think that's just even a good question to ask yourself because it's like if you're obviously you don't want to need to know like what other people think as much. Like that's not as valuable, but really how you present yourself is more for yourself than it is for others. I feel like.
absolutely. Oh my goodness, that is so true
Yeah.
because you know that when you bring a certain Noah to the table, that
Mhm.
if you can step back and you're proud and you know you did a good job and you just you know you're good. That's
Mhm.
such a great feeling, and that didn't come from anybody else. That came from you bringing who you are to the table. And so maybe that would be the thing that you would just watch for instances where you just really feel, yeah, pat yourself on the back kind of feeling. And what
Yeah.
what
And it just feels good. It just feels right. I feel like once it feels super right, that's when I'll make those different branding ideas and be
yeah,
known for that specific thing. 'Cause I feel like
exactly.
yeah, I feel like that's something that even for me, I did actually have a change. I was like, I don't wanna have my last name on my branded. I wanted to be my first name and my middle name. I wanted to be Noah Lee. That's it. Um,
Okay.
I didn't really want my last name, so I made that one small decision. I don't know if that's super big branding, but that one small decision. I don't know.
Well, it's a step. And so, well, I'm going to share an article that I read with you about a
Mhm,
guy who had 1 million downloads now on his podcast. And
mhm.
so he talks about, the first podcast, the first 10, the first 50, how you just have to really stick with it and just stay, and you'll get into your groove and do it. So I definitely want to share that article with you. It was so good. But yeah, you'll just come into your own. Like I can see you are an exhorter of people. Like you really are an encourager. You bring out the best in people. People that you interview, like, so it's not about, this isn't the welcome to the Noah Lee show. It's really not that. I mean, we
Yeah,
all want to know more about you. Like what do you do all day? What do you do when, what's your day look like? But
yeah,
we don't see that because you're always pulling out the information from the other person.
right, right. And I
Yeah.
think this is probably the most I've spoken on a podcast, just because I usually do sit in that spot of just listening, and the main reason is because it's not my show, it's y'all show. It's helping other people. It's bringing them to light, and then after that, I even clip it up and do all the little clips and highlights, and I push that out to provide value to the other person. And I just know that if I keep giving and keep giving and keep giving, that hey, if you give the most, the reciprocity, right, it's gonna come back to you.
That's
Um,
exactly right. I
so
love
yeah,
that word. I don't know how to pronounce it. I mess it up every time I try. That R word, that's part of the reason that I enjoy doing what I do because there's an underlying feeling of reciprocity.
reciprocity. Dang it, you got me messing it up too. Reciprocity, reciprocity.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, even with your business of like leaving those gifts there, they're like, hey, I need to give back to this person. I mean, they even
Yeah,
trained us in door to door to ask for some water. Like if they're like
really.
ask for water, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great way to connect with a person. Ask
Mhm,
for something that it's not a big ask, but it's just
mhm,
something that connects you at a deeper level. That
mhm,
is really a smart thing right
mhm.
there to do.
I've even been listening to a book lately called The Little Black Book of Connections, and they even
Yeah,
talk about connecting with I guess more powerful people, celebrities, stuff like that. And a lot of people do that, kind of gaga look of like, hey, oh my gosh, this person. But
right.
they laid out a few frameworks for how to actually connect with those people. And it really was just giving value first. And it's not asking them, hey, how can I help you? How can I do this? No, it's just providing a gift and then leaving it there. And they're like, whoa. Like I heard a story where somebody they knew that this celebrity's favorite candy was Butterfingers, so they knew somebody where they lived, I guess, and they were like, okay, well, I'm going to send them like 2 pounds of Butterfingers. And they just sent it over, nothing, just a letter of like, hey, this is from so and so, hope
Yeah,
you enjoy. And that's it. And then later, 2 3 weeks later, they got on the podcast and they were like, hey, what's going on? So and they had something to
that's
immediately laugh about. So
so cool.
but
Yeah.
um, well, I'll go ahead and move into the next kind of portion. What has been your most memorable customer experience?
You know, so it has nothing to do with the business that I do now. But
Mhm,
years ago, I used to manage furniture stores. And I managed one store in a little town in Louisiana. And I had this old man that owed us for a washer and dryer. Well, I heard
mhm,
that he had gotten very sick and his bill was falling behind. And I thought, this dude, he's sick like terminally. He's not going to make it and we're not going to get this money. And so why burden him by calling or sending bills or whatever. So I sent him
Mhm.
a note and I said, I know you've got a lot of things that you're worried about, and I want this to be one thing that you're not worried about anymore. I want you to just keep that. And we really do wish you the very best. And if we can do anything for you, I want you to let us know. And so I sent that note to him, which some
Wow.
people would think, you can't do that. You can't give away your things. Well, years later, at a completely different furniture store in the same city, this
Mhm.
lady came in and she bought thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of furniture from me. And she was that man's daughter. And when he died, she cleaned out his house and she found that note. And she said that she had no doubt who she was going to buy all this furniture from. It was going to be
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
so, and I never anticipated that. I didn't know he had a daughter. I didn't, but I just really believe in the law of sowing and reaping. I do think that when you put out good into the world, you're going to get good back into your world. And so that's what I just always try to do. I try to add value to people, and I always want people to feel better after I've been around
Yeah.
than, I don't want to drain the energy or anything.
Exactly. I mean, it's always giving more. And I
Yeah.
think that's what the some of the most I remember I had some I think it was three podcasts ago. He was just like, "Yeah, I want to give as much as possible."
Mhm.
Because if you give as much as possible, you'll get as much as possible, and then it's kind of like a selfish thing because it's like, "Hey, like I'm
Oh my
giving you this, but I love it. Like I love giving you this. I just want to give more to
God.
you."
I love to give. It gives me such a great feeling. And I really love that I've gotten the reputation now that people will ask me, hey Mary, I can't pay my phone bill. Can you help? I got you, girl. Because if I haven't, it's not a problem at all. I don't
Yeah.
mind at all for to help anybody. I wish I could do more. Like I would like to be Mr. Beast.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, being able to give.
Yeah, just give. Just get radically giving. Yeah.
I mean, even think about that. Like Mr. Beast is the guy who, he was able to. He just started his career just giving and giving, giving. I think it was like his first sponsor that he ever got. He got like I don't know, like $2,000 or $3,000, and then
Wow.
immediately next video gives it away.
Yeah.
Next
I love
video gives it away.
yeah. I love that. He
But
does radical kind of silly stuff with it now. It's fun, but it's all for the purpose of to get more sponsorship, to get more money so I can give more money. I just
yeah,
really admire that in a
but
person.
then
I wish
he's like, I want to get more money to give more money.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But we can I know before we got on here, we talked a little bit about making money on Facebook and making money online in general. And you had a very interesting perspective that I wanted to share with everybody in the audience. So, kind of go into how how you make money on Facebook, how you make connections, and then also how a person can get started with helping their business grow on Facebook.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said I had a good perspective. I don't remember what it was, but
That's all.
I know you, so I think it'll be true to what I told you. So I think about people that maybe would benefit from what I do, and I kind of stay around those groups and I add value. Like I'm not all about, hey, go to this link, you'll be glad you did. I'm not about that at all. I just want to add value. I want to encourage people. If somebody has a milestone in their company, I want to be like first in line to say, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so awesome." And then I think that we have a natural curiosity. Like I don't know if
Mhm.
you do. Well, I think we all do this, but we all check out, who's commenting things that are of value. And
Yep.
so I get business that way.
Mm.
So people will just look at who I am and what I did. And even though my Facebook page is certainly not a massive commercial, of what I
Mhm.
do, you can find what I do on there.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I do.
I've definitely seen that a lot with Facebook groups. Facebook groups are insane. Being able to go in there, just post about, and you have to post in a specific way. You have to be like, "Hey, this is," even with when I advertise, I just say, "Hey, this is something I've been working on for a while. What do you guys think? I'm open to criticism." Um, and then it's like, "Oh, well, I really like what you got. Can I
Yeah,
come get it?" Like, check your DM. I sent you a message, and it's like, "Okay, cool."
that's so cool.
So
Yeah,
I think there's
beautiful.
always a creative way to, and then like what you said, with just providing that value up front and just being like, "This is what I learned. What do you guys think?"
Yeah, I like that a lot. I
So,
like that a lot.
yeah. But we're getting close to the time on my side. So what kind of, do you have like any thoughts to leave with everybody to think about, or um, I'll have all your stuff in the description so they can check you out. But
Oh,
do you
cool.
have any thoughts or anything left to tell everybody?
Well, if I can be a help to anybody, that's all I want to do. I just want to help people. I'd say that if you tell me how you make money, I'll help you make more of it. Because that's really my goal. If you're in
Mhm.
I just believe this life, we just want to make the very best of it that we can for ourselves and for others. It's so short. Life is so short. And really,
Mhm.
um, I can get very, like, go lay under a tree for days and just look at the tree and the skies and the stars and the moon and, just get the big picture of things. Everything that we uh, worry about in our
Mhm.
lives is,
Went off for a second.
yeah. So, yeah, it's just, there's much bigger things, but since we're here, we might as well help each other enjoy this journey the best that we can. So,
I like that. I like that. The final kind of thing, because I just looked down at my paper and I wanted to ask this so that anybody could help you out there.
okay.
Um, what's your ideal kind of referral or client that somebody could send over?
Okay. So, I do enjoy working for small to mid-sized businesses, people that that are feeding their families.
Mhm.
That I want to be able to help them, and people who are creative and who trust me to when I say this is a good idea, because I'm not flippantly doing this. I'm not. I make a living doing this, but
Mhm.
when I work with a company, I'm not thinking about, oh, what am I going to do with this commission? I'm not thinking like that at all. I'm thinking about how can we target their market in a way that's going to really benefit them, that they can see real results from the work that we're doing.
And then, like, even with that trailer story, you have immediately, like, he was getting so much more referrals. So it was like a smaller business that was just able to sit there and just get all those referrals and get as
That's
much help
right.
as possible.
That's huge to be able to get referrals. It's huge. That's so much more valuable than going out and stomping around and putting ads in papers and trying to, do all the things to bring people in. When your phone's ringing, that's good.
It's the easiest business you'll ever sign.
Yeah, it
Well,
sure
other
is.
than that, I appreciate, this was the nice pin lady out here.
Yeah.
So, but you guys can check out all of her links in the description, and then I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, I really enjoyed it. All right.
Awesome. Well, I
See ya.
appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.